stand up for the review to plan. And remember, if I saw this is
Everyone, good evening to you all. I hope you are all fine.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I can hear all of you. I can hear all of you. I've been muting all of you because I'm recording the session and I want us to have a very sound environment as we always do, so that whenever we post it on our YouTube channel, we can also go and engage the session that we have over there. Tonight, we are going to continue with our online group studies, the academic showdown. My name is Bafo Ewa Joseph Ejapon, but most of you know me as Nana Bafo Ewa NBA. And I'm going to be your host for tonight's group discussion. It's going to be on development studies. As we know, we always have our development studies discussions Saturday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then on Sundays, we do that of public administration. And I hope you are all aware of our IE that we are going to have this Wednesday. And therefore, we will do our part to have our group discussions. Fortunately, unfortunately for me, I am not going to be the one who is going to engage us in tonight's discussion. I already sent to you guys the notification. We would be hosting one of the prominent political scientists in our department, and he's already here with us. He has already joined the meeting, and he will be the one who will help us with what we will be discussing tonight. All protocols duly observed. I really respect him, so I don't even know how to introduce him, but I'll try my possible best. He's a level 300 student, and he is called Mr. Clement. Most of us know him as OJ Clement. Yes, he is going to be the one who will take over when I'm done talking. Please, let's give him the maximum respect in the process of his submission, and let's pay attention to whatever he will teach us tonight. I know we are all going to do that, so let's continue to have our good records. Mr. Clement, please, if you can hear me, the floor is yours. We are all ready to listen to you. So I end my submission. Please kindly unmute yourself and commence the meeting for us. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to express my sincerest of gratitude to Nana Bafo for giving me the opportunity to engage you guys today. I must say that it's a very big privilege because at the end of the day, what is the point of studying and not, sharing it with people, because that is the aim of humanity. So I trust we are all doing good. Because of time, I am not going to expect responses from people, but I just hope that everyone is fine. And considering the fact that we've been able to join, I know that everyone is doing great. So if you have anything to say, kindly raise your hands. These are the laid down rules for this particular session. Please, if you have anything to say, kindly raise up your hand. If you want to react to something, those features are made available for us. Without much ado, I want to introduce myself. My name is Clement Ojija Ojao. Most of you know me as OJ Clement, and I am the resource person for this particular session. I'm very excited to share with you guys the things that you need to know in preparation ahead of your IE. So I'm going to go right into it. As per every discussion, there is the need to have a structure. As per every discussion, there is the need to have a structure. So this is the structure of this particular presentation. So first, I'm going to give an introduction to the theories of development. Then I would move on to talk about the overview, give an overview concept of what theories and the type of theories of development. Then I'm going to give you examples and case study to get a better understanding. And as always, every particular theory that has been developed over the years have people that criticizes these particular theories. So owing to that, I'm going to give you some critiques as well. Then further, some applications and implications of these particular theories. Then we'll move ahead to talk about the conclusion to this particular thing. Then we'll move ahead to the question and answer session. Having said that, let's dive into the reason why we are here. So first about theories, right? As political scientists, we don't make speculations. Every single argument we make are based on theories. Then now it begs the question, what are theories? Theories are frameworks or conceptual models that help us understand and explain various aspects, and in this regard, development, right? We use theories to set a particular framework, to give explanations to certain things, or to get a better conceptualization of models that help us to understand the forms of development or phenomenon that happen in society. So moving forward, these theories provide different perspectives and explanation for why and how development occurs, as well as the factors that influences it. And they help researchers and practitioners to analyze and interpret the complex dynamics of social, economic, and political change in different contexts. So these theories of development studies provide a foundation for studying and addressing issues related to poverty, inadequacy, inequalities, and sustainability, and social justice. So some of these theories, especially in development studies, help us understand all the things that I've mentioned. So that means that, having said that, we can all come to a consensus that theories are very important, especially to political scientists. It is the most important thing that these political scientists would value so much. So for the purpose of those who just joined, we just talked about what theories are. We said they are the framework and concept of models that help us understand and explain various aspects of development. So moving forward, right, let's look at some of the types of development. And because one thing I can tell you, having experienced Dr. Kudicha, is that he always encourages his students to read ahead. So sometimes when he gives you certain things to know before the IE, sometimes he brings things that are like further beyond that. So theories of development, we have some of the theories like the modernization theory, we have the dependency theory, and we have the world system theory. So basically, I'm going to give you overview of these particular theories, then later we'll dive into the in-depth understanding of these particular theories. So if you take modernization theory, for instance, it suggests that society developed by adopting Western values and technology. And so with the modernization theory, some people call it, some people say the Western form of theory. So it just suggests that to be able to develop, you have to adopt the way that the white people or the people at the West, their forms of development, there are stages to it. And if you talk about the dependency theory argues that underdevelopment or underdeveloped countries are dependent on developed countries for resource and economic growth. All right. my attention has been drawn that I'm moving very, very fast. So I'm going to slow the pace a bit. So now what we are looking at is some of the types of theory. So if you look at some of the types of theory, the most predominant ones are what? The modernization theory, then we have the dependency theory, then we have the world system theory, or the world system theory. So these are overviews of what these particular theories talk about. So first, let's talk about the modernization theory. It just suggests that societies develop by adopting Western values and technology. Then if you look at the dependency theory, it argues that underdeveloped countries are dependent on developed countries for resources and economic growth. Then with the world system theory, it examines that the global economic system and how it perpetuates inequality. So basically, the world economic system is just saying that there are inequalities in society and there are issues in society, and that it's as a result of the fact that it has been structured to be that way. So it's like everybody's playing a role in the economic system. That is what it suggests. So having said that, let's dive deep into what these particular things there, what these particular theories actually entail. But I would like to ask a question. I hope you've has he given you about like 23 words or phrases to look up and understand? Please, I want responses.
No, please.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Please, can you
then-
share your slide on the screen?
Oh, I am not using a slide, unfortunately. But
Okay.
I would make it available for Mr. Bafo, and he will share it with you guys. Is that
Okay.
fine?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Somebody's hand is up. Who is that? Kindly, if you have a question, I'm open to answer.
Hello.
Hello.
Please, can I also say a theory is a system of thinking based on general principle intended to explain an aspect of reality?
So just as always, I'm sure that most of the courses that you've read, you would realize it. Most of the explanations that we have in political science are not defined. So, for example, we have a lot of political scientists or a lot of philosophers that have given explanations to a lot of things in political science based off their experience or background. So if you explain theory like that, it still makes sense. It doesn't have to be limited to the only explanation that I am going to give. Do you understand?
Yes, boss.
All right. So let's continue. Please, is there any other question? All right. Let's move forward. So just as I said earlier, so political scientists, we don't do speculations. If you are making arguments and you don't have theories to back them or case study, then it's just you saying something. And anyone can make speculations. So we as political scientists, we use theories, okay? We make arguments based on what? On theories. So, for example, the modernization theory, for example, so during the industrial revolution in the past centuries, right? We had the Soviet Union, then we had the West. You get it? And Mr. W.W. Rostow, I'm giving you a historical context to the modernization theory. So he wrote a book called the Non-Communist Manifesto. This non-communist manifesto was, if you just as the name suggests, it's a non-communist manifesto, and if you read well, you would realize that at the time the Soviet Union, they were communist, and I think they are communist. So he wanted to prove that the only form of development should be the Western form of development. And that is when W.W. Rostov, who is a communist at the time, brought up the idea of what the modernization theory. So he argues that for you to develop is a stepwise revolution or evolution. So, okay, it's a stepwise evolution. So that means that for a country to develop, there are certain stages that what you need to go through. And WW brought out the theory of what the modernization theory. So this is what it talks about. The modernization theory is quite simple. It says that for a particular country to develop, it has to go through these stages, and these stages are the traditional society. We have the traditional society. Then we have the next stage to be preconditioned for takeoff. That is the next society, the next stage of development. Then when you leave the precondition to take off, then you move on to what? Take off. That is the next stage and the third stage. Then according to Rostov, if you, from the stage of takeoff, you dive straight into what? Drive to maturity. Drive to maturity. Then after that stage, then you move ahead to what? The stage, which is the final stage, which is the stage of what? High mass consumption. Although there are some people that argue that there are certain stages. There is another stage, which is the stage of what? The stage beyond high mass consumption. So that stage is, but it's not, that particular stage is not like practical. It's not true. No particular country has attained that. It's just theoretical, and no country has attained that yet. So let's look at the various stages and the explanation to them, the various stages, and what the traits that will make you understand or see the particular stage that a country is. So I want to ask a question. Which stage do you think Ghana is according to the modernization theory? Before I dive into the explanation, then we'll get it. If you want to answer, you can raise your hand. Which stage do you think Ghana is, or Africa, most of the African countries? Hello.
Hi.
Which stage, can any of you raise up your hand and say which stage do you think Ghana is, looking at the 5 stages according to the modernization theory? Okay, please, you can give your answer. The one who raised her or his hand. I can't see the name, so.
Take off, please.
You think Ghana is at takeoff?
Yes, please.
Why do you say so?
Okay.
Mr. Suleiman, why do you
Yes.
think Ghana is at takeoff? Before I give the explanation.
Because beyond fundamental technologies, Ghana, at least, we are able to transform or dominate certain things at the grassroots level to some stage.
Okay. Thanks for your contribution. So let's dive into the first stage, which is what? The traditional society. So with the traditional society, according to Rostov, is this. The first trait, or so when we say traits, things or what do they call them? Certain things that when you see, it makes it obvious that this particular country is at this stage. So the first one is what? Dominant primary sector. We have the 3 sectors of production. We have the primary, secondary, and tertiary. So according to the modernization theory by Rostov, one of the traits of what traditional societies dominant primary sector. So that means that predominantly things are done with natural resource. All we do is just get the natural resource. And that is a trait in Ghana, right? We don't have a lot of industries. What we do is we have a lot of natural resources and we only mine them. We mine gold and we drill oil, etc. But we don't have industries to transform them into what's finished product. So that is one of the traits of what a traditional society. Then another trait, or the second thing that makes it obvious to know that a particular society is a traditional society, is what? Basic technology. So for example, when they are farming, they use things like cutlass, axe, as compared to other countries where they use things like combine harvester, fertilizers, etc. Do you get it? Then when you move forward, then we have the other one, which is what? No centralized government or political system. So another thing that makes it obvious for you to know that a country is at a traditional society is that they don't have a centralized form of government or a political system. It's just what they have is called an autonomous sector of power that are independent. So for example, when you go to some traditional societies, we have like kings that will tell you that they have their own territories, etc. Right? That is some form of power that is there. We don't have the centralized where everybody will say, oh, this is the president or this is the centralized government that we are all under. Then the other thing is what? Mechanical solidarity. I'll use this opportunity to give you a heads up. So with regards to mechanical solidarity, what it talks about is, hello.
Hi.
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 Yeah, we are here.
Hello. I don't particularly hear anything.
Hi.
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 Please, we can hear you.
Hi. Double hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Double
move for
hi.
let's move on, right? Thank you all for the response. So with regards to mechanical solidarity, it refers to a type of social cohesion in traditional societies where individuals are bound together by shared beliefs, values, and norms. So that is something that is predominant in what a traditional society. They often have their shared beliefs and norms that they adhere to. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then
Yes,
we
please.
cause the next. Please, if you don't understand anything, just draw my attention to it. The next trait of a traditional society is that they have what? Collective consciousness dominated by superstition. So, for example, in a traditional society, for example, they believe so much in superstition. So, for example, some people tell you don't go to the rivers on Tuesdays. You don't do certain things on a particular day because they have certain beliefs to these particular things. So I remember when he was teaching us, he gave an example that, so for example, in some Ghanaian movies, you see that they'll tell you, oh, in this society there, on Fridays, we don't go to river. And if you go, certain things will happen to you. Those were things that were called the collective consciousness. So they all believe in those particular things, which is dominated by superstition. So some people argue that those things are narrative. So those particular narratives are used to shape the way these particular people in the traditional society thinks. So these are some of the traits in the traditional society. So looking at all these traits, do you think, and the one thing you need to note too is that for a particular country move from hello everyone, one particular thing is that for a traditional society to move to the next stage, then it means that I remember the day he was teaching us. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Uh, all right. So, according to this particular stages, it says that for a country to move from the traditional society to the precondition to take off society, then it is triggered by certain things. So, for example, right, if I'm in a traditional society and I do only raw material, for example, and one of the days and we want to transport these particular things, and let's say we use a car, for example, or we use certain other scientific resources or gadgets to work, those particular things trigger the minds of these people and start to want to know more or explore more in that regard. I just saw a message that the class will end in 5 minutes. So I want him to renew the class duration. Then we can continue with the precondition to take off. Then we can move ahead with the rest. Is that fine with everyone?
Well noted. Yes.
And while we wait, I want you all to be conceptualizing the things that we've discussed so far, because I would ask questions right now when he renews the class.